Thank you for tuning in to the Natty News Daily podcast. This episode is brought to you in part by our sponsor, Core Nutritionals. You can check out corenutritionals.com for all your supplement needs and use code Natty News Daily at checkout to save 20%. Enjoy the episode.
What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Natty News Daily. We got special guests on today. Quantarrius Wilson, how are you, my man?
I'm good, my man. How you guys doing?
We're good. Happy to have you on. It's been, we were just chatting before we come on air. It's been a while since we've seen this man. We caught him live at the Mr. America last year. So, a little rounder in the face he is since we saw him last, but that's all right.
It's about that time, as far as prep goes, it's about the time to kick it back in. Took some months off at the Mr. America. I was supposed to compete in the natural atlas, but I took that time out to kind of just focus on growing a little bit. So here I am growing.
That's good. Let's go back then to last year. What was last year like for you competitively?
Man, competitively, I trained for one show in particular, which was the Mr. America show. I personally think I should have did something before, just to kind of give myself that show to kind of show me where I was at. But I just trained straight through. And the result is what it is, and I am happy with the result because of the work I put in and all that went into it. So
right on. Now you mentioned before we come on air, you thought you could have been a little bit leaner. What do you think, I guess, attributed to that? Was it a time thing? Was it a prep highs and lows thing? What was that factor that maybe didn't give you that full 100% look?
All of the above. The timing, I don't recommend this to any competitor. It was the drive. Like I mentioned to you guys before, the 15-hour drive there alone will put stress on your body, make you hold to water. And then if you don't get there in enough time to kind of get that water off, then you go on stage with that water. You know what I mean? So, and then hosting shows too, traveling, throughout the year to Florida, to Texas, to Atlanta, Georgia. It just puts a lot of stress on your body. So I know this time around, going to another event, I need to take at least a month and just focus on prep. When it comes to those last 4 to 5 weeks of prep, and travel and not do anything extracurricular. You know what I mean? So
what's your typical prep, like timeline wise and weight change over the course of a prep?
So right now, even now, I'm sitting about 185, and I get down to about 160. You know what I mean? Okay. So I can do anywhere between 20 to 25 pounds. So that takes about anywhere between 16 to 18 weeks to do it comfortably. Not having to rush their prep, not having to rush their weight loss, things of that nature. So I think this time around, going into my next competition, I'm sitting about 19 weeks if I decide to compete in this event. And now it's the time. Now it's the time to kind of kick that into motion so I can make sure I have everything I need to look my best.
So you really took only from September to now off of prep, I guess you could say, and you're looking to compete again.
Yep, exactly. Well, I say October because Mr. America was October, right?
Yeah, it was early October.
Mr. America, I started to focus more so on my improvements, more so than kind of get myself down farther to compete again last year. So I did take, like I said, October until now to kind of determine if I want to get back into prep again.
Interesting. So that's really not that long. Is that typical of you, or is it just the circumstances of the year? I couldn't imagine jumping into prep that quickly.
I know, right? So I've been competing since 2010. I did my first 3 shows 2010. I got my pro card in 2012, which was IFPA at the time, which was OCD and NANBF pro division. I competed in the Jordan Cup back in 2013, competed in the DFAC World Finals 2014, 2015. And I took 15 until 20 off. Due to family, due to having kids, having twins, due to marriage, divorce, all kind of stuff happened within those 5 years. So I wasn't really focused on building my body, more so for bodybuilding, more so than just kind of going through life. But in 2020, I started to focus more so on building my body again for bodybuilding. And I competed in the Legacy Classic, which was a Ty Rogers production down in Houston, Texas, just to kind of get my feet wet again. And since then, I've had the bug to kind of just keep it going. I do think I did take the time off to kind of, focus on building certain areas of my body, because when you stand next to guys like me, Shaq, and Bubba and Levi, you see where you lack at, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be size, conditioning, whatever it may be. So I know that's going to take time for me to get to that level. Should I compete this year? Probably not, but I want to.
That's fair. Hey, that's a very valid answer.
You know what I mean? I want to see what I can do if I give it my all these next 4 to 5 months. You know what I mean? Because I usually compete later in the year. Competing early in the year this time around, I don't have as much on my plate. So it's kind of just, put the work in. I can compete with the best,
Yeah.
Well, you showed it already, right?
Yeah.
That placing you out of Mr. America is nothing to, be upset about. Obviously, as competitors, we want to do better. But when you look at the people that placed ahead of you, I mean, they're the best of the best right now.
You got Jordan Cup winner and Levi. You got me, Shaq, Mr. Olympia, Mr. America now. Like you got, you know what I mean? Like you're
Bada, who won? Yeah.
Bada, who
Worlds
won
twice.
WNBF, IPE. Like you got you got the top notch, competitors at this event, man. So like you say, the place third is not nothing to, hang your head low about, but it's definitely something that you want to improve on.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Is there one specific show you're eyeing up, or are you thinking maybe a couple?
So one I want to do for sure, because I love how it was ran last year as a spectator looking in, was the Florida Naturals, which was Derek DeVore. He runs a very, very amazing event. And I support promoters. I support, people who love the sport. It's an NGA event, and I loved it. I love, being in the atmosphere as a spectator. I love being there, just kind of communicate with the athletes, communicate with the promoter, and and the workers and whatnot. So that is June 3rd and 4th, I believe. The pro event being June 4th on that Sunday. That's the one that I really have my eye on. And then from there, just kind of dialing it in and getting ready for Mr. America again.
Oh, so you're doing Mr. A again this year?
I'm going back. I gotta go back every chance I get.
So that's interesting then. So from June to say October, what does that look like? Like, I would not assume you're going back up to 185 again.
Nah, I wouldn't be able to. I probably have a weight to maintain at that point and a look to maintain, and then from there kind of kick it back into high gear and get really dialed in for that Mr. America event. Again, that making sure I buy my ticket in advance, make sure, plane ticket, hotel, and all the things in advance, so I won't have to make that drive again, because I believe it played a big toll on my body here previous show, because I woke up that morning, before I left, I looked amazing. And then on the road, you get there, you're like, oh, let me find a treadmill or something, or
what happened here?
What day did you drive out?
I'm sorry?
What day of the week did you drive out?
So we left Wednesday morning. We left early Wednesday morning. We got there probably late or early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. And just like I say, you got check-in Friday, you got, show Saturday. So it all happens so fast. You barely have time to do anything outside of just getting your food, getting your plan together for your load, and kind of going from there. So
yeah, that would be I've flown to Europe once to compete, and that was a lot. Just managing that, and obviously driving, you have so many other variables with traffic and shit at play, and God forbid something happened to your car or something like that. So I can imagine what that would feel like, just being on a plane and dealing with the stresses that come with that.
On the road is just as worse, because you said traffic, accidents. Look at the miles coming your way. You got to be so mentally focused on everything else that you can't focus on your body, and that really takes away from how your body looks, in my opinion. And speaking of Europe, I heard you, international. So, and I guess I forgot to mention this. I do planning on competing in the DFAC World Finals, which is in Australia this year.
Oh, that's sick.
That's a hike.
Yeah,
that's a far drive.
I know, right? I'm a big fan of the BNBF, the ANBF, those international natural bodybuilding organizations. So I definitely plan on supporting them and competing in their show this year as well. So that'd be 3 shows that I have in mind this year. the Florida Naturals, the Mr. America, and the DFAC World Finals.
You're not afraid to travel for your shows, that's for sure.
Nah, I'm not. I like to get out of my backyard, man, and go have some fun. You know what I'm saying? Meet new people like you guys. I wouldn't have met you guys if I would have stayed in my backyard, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you competed with David K before?
So the year I did compete in DFAC World Finals, it was an elite pro category and a pro category.
Jeez.
I know, right? You had Nathan, you had David Kai, you had Sean Wolf, you had some of the craziest looking bodybuilders you ever seen, like naturally, like I mean, just shredded throughout from the calf to the glute to the neck,
Yep.
like he just shredded to death. So that was the one time I was almost on stage with David Kai. Well, unfortunately, I didn't make it to the finals in that event, so I wasn't able to compete against him for the overall at that event.
That's the thing, right? Like, there's so many good athletes, right? In this topic we've talked about, like, you know, somehow an environment where you get everybody up there. Let's see who the best of the best is, right? But like, you're gonna go to Mr. America and you're gonna compete with names mentioned before, like Meshach, Bada, Levi, who are all amazing athletes. Then you're gonna go to Australia and compete with a whole other list of amazing athletes, and like, there may never be an opportunity for these people to cross paths, which sucks.
It may be though. It may be. I'm working on something big, fellas. I am, because it has to be. It has to be something for the natural athletes to compete against somewhat international. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's been that way. Like I said, DFAC used to have that event in Miami, Florida, but unfortunately, they have a lot of support for that event. A lot of people kind of going different places because I'm not sure why the because was, but I mean, you had the David Kays and the Nathans coming over, and you know what I mean, you had those guys coming over and looking for the best in our country. You know, they were showing up. But I also think it was possibly like the payouts too. You know, we don't like to talk about that, but we all do it for fun. Don't get me wrong. But if we see a $10,000 payout, if we see a $15K payout, we might just go ahead and shoot our shot at it. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Oh yeah.
Or you know, a 1,500 or 2,000 cash prize. You know, it's different when you see 15K for a natural bodybuilder, man. It really is. When you see that, you're like, oh man, I think I'm the best. You know what I mean? Let me go find out. And then, you know, that's what it comes down to. So I believe setting that stage, you know, to make sure you reward the best bodybuilder in the world, you know what I mean? And you make it worth their time. I think we'll get there.
Yeah. That, I mean, that's just it, right? Right now, there's no, outside of bragging rights and like maybe $1,000.
Right.
There's nothing to bring you there, right? And I think with that last incentive of a financial, then you combine, like you said, a 15K purse with maybe a legit ability to say you are the best natural bodybuilder in the world, because this world champion, that world champion, this and this and this, which is great. But where's one? We need one. There's one Mr. Olympia for a reason, right? Like we need a platform in this realm of the sport that A, pays well, and B, is legitimized, that people can, like, as a general consensus, look at and be like, okay, he is the man.
Yes, that part. I mean, even if you send the IPE world champ to the world finals, the WNBF world champ to the finals, the OWN X, GBO champ to the finals, and the NGA champ to the finals. Who else? What other organizations we got?
Natural Olympia.
The Natural Olympia went into the finals. You got 5 American finals, and then you bring over 15 other countries, and you at it. You know what I mean? Like it's
for sure.
It can definitely be done, right? Just with you guys, you know, putting the word out about the sport, and then with the right people involved, man, it can definitely be something that can happen.
Yeah. I mean, I hope in our competitive careers we see it, because it would finally be. I think it's the last missing link that natural bodybuilding needs to really give it a boost, outside of, like, you know, more media coverage and stuff like that. But I think with social media and this kind of stuff, it'll continue to grow, like, in that realm. But if there's that one legit big event, you know, and the Mr. America did a damn good job of, you know, bringing that perspective, right? Where they're inviting, hey, if you're pro this, pro that, we don't care. If you're the man, let's see who the top dog is, right? So it's proven that it's not impossible. It just needs to like bring everybody, right? Not just, North American athletes. Let's get Australia and Europe and all this kind of stuff, because there's, you've seen them live. There's some killers across the pond.
Man, you've never seen David Kai in person. Pictures don't do him justice, bro. It's like mind blowing. It really is. Like I'm gonna get there one day. You know what I mean? I have that motivation too because I'm natural as well. And I know I can do it because he did it. But at the same time, to see somebody at that point in their career and how they look physique wise, it's crazy. Like like it was the night before. So I judged the DFAC World Finals in 2019, and it was a check-in day. It was Friday, and they was all coming in, to downstairs to check in or whatnot. And he had a short sleeve shirt on, and I'm posing, and I'm when I tell you, bro, it was like the detail in his triceps. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you eat? What do you? How much water do you drink? Like, I was asking all of the questions. How many carbs do you eat before show? You know what I mean? Like, just to kind of get that insight of like how to get that conditioned. You know what I'm saying? In that amount of time, before the show. So I highly recommend that we kind of, team up and try to pull this together, man, because it can definitely be something that can be big for the community.
Yeah.
We're always on board.
Yeah.
Be really cool. So what does your like prep look like as far as calories and cardio and stuff like that? Like, do you have to push pretty hard, or do you kind of get like luck of the straw here? What's it look like?
Calorie wise, so macro wise, I'm taking in about anywhere between 200 grams of protein. I try to push my carbs high in the beginning of my prep, between, like you say, 300 to 300 by 350 in the beginning of the prep. That was first 4 weeks of that 16-week prep. And I kind of down my carbs down and kind of increase my protein. Fat you stay anywhere between 50 to 70. Getting ready for that show. Water, a gallon and a half to 2 gallons. I kind of dial it down as I get closer to the show. I try not to take it all the way out because it's something I've been playing around with. I've been training myself for the past 3 years. I used to have a coach. So it's kind of just learning my own body and kind of, trial and error. But when it comes to cardio, I almost feel like I did too much cardio last prep. I just look real stringy in my eyes. I feel like I could have pulled back a little bit on the cardio and just, focus more so on the weight training and just really push my body in the weight training department. When you're training yourself, you tend to take kind of easy on yourself sometimes, which is it's always good to have that second set of eyes to kind of look at you like, hey, look good, but more back extensions, more deadlifts, so on and so forth. So it just come down to really getting a team behind me, and making sure I'm doing the right things with nutrition and workout wise, getting ready for these next events.
Yeah, for sure. The hell was I just gonna say?
Who is that team going to be for you this year?
So back in 2012, my coach Rex Thompson, who helped me, he really changed my mindset about bodybuilding, period. I kind of deterred away from him because of my ego at the time. And I may not have to say that now, you know what I mean? But he was the one that kind of like built my love for the sport, you know what I mean? Kind of showed me what the sport was really about as far as what it offered mentally, physically, kind of how to put you in that zone as far as in other aspects of life. So I've contacted him recently. He kind of helped me a little bit with the Mr. America this previous year. But we know moving forward that we need more time to work with each other so we can see what improvements we need to make versus what we did back 10 years ago. So, he's going to help me with the training side, the nutrition side. He helped me on as well, supplementation and all that good stuff. Now I have a team as far as like having a masseuse, a chiropractor, and a therapist for real. Like, you're surprised how much just talking about stuff kind of just takes some steam off your body, man. So I kind of put myself in position to have all of those, pieces in my life to move forward with my prep this time around to kind of help me just stay grounded, and not kind of get thrown off track because I have so much going on with the promoting, I have my own supplement company, I have my own training company, apparel. Like it's just so much that I have going on outside of bodybuilding. I want to make sure that when it comes to bodybuilding, I have people to kind of lean on to kind of help me stay focused on, get my next event.
I actually really love
smart.
that. You're being very preventative about a lot of issues that can pop up where some people kind of wait until the issues are happening. You're kind of putting these pillars in place, saying, I know what can be coming down the pipeline, and like let's chat beforehand. I love that. When you said team, I was expecting like, all right, like me, Leroy, and Dan, right? Like we shoot each other photos and like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But like having true professionals that you actually like have hired to keep an eye on you, I think is spectacular.
Yeah. Unlike Dan and I, we are far from professionals.
We are not in DMs, not. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not that.
I also have a team of guys that I work out with daily. You know what I mean? My guy Kenny Sims, who was an IPE, bodybuilding pro. Anthony Moore, who's an IPE classic physique pro. Tristan Thompson, who was an IPE physique pro. Like I have guys who I train with, who send pictures to back and forth, but I also know I need that professional, I'm saying, recommendation or that professional advice or so on and so forth to kind of elevate me to be good for them. You know what I mean? I feel like they do the same, to kind of feed into me as well. So I always recommend just building a team just of individuals to kind of help you, like you say, stay grounded. You know what I mean? Like, so you guys being, each other's support system is perfect. You know what I'm saying? And outside of that, I know you guys have clients. So, hey, chiropractic client, when you come in town, go get cracked up, go talk about therapy for about 30 minutes, just small things like that kind of just help free your mind and just, release the stress from your body.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like when I competed last year, we were chatting daily for sure. And like some of the stuff was some pretty deep shit that I needed help navigating. And, these two guys were two that helped me get through it along with my coach. Right. So I can speak to that if you don't have to navigate prep on your own, don't get some squad behind you.
And use your resources.
For sure. Yeah.
Because we all have resources. We all have people that we can kind of lean on, gotta let their ego go and kind of just, open up. That's the hard part as far as even me and just opening up. You know what I mean? Just being vulnerable. Like I'm learning how to be vulnerable. That's the hardest thing ever. Wow. It says somebody you hurting, like, man, I'm hurting. Like I need to get this off my chest. You know what I mean? And then just that alone allows you to go to the gym and get a better workout in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm mentally free now. I can focus on my muscles. You know what I'm saying? So it plays a big part in just building the body and building the temple, man. So
yeah. Damn. I think that's a beautiful way to end this. I think that was a really good tangent that I think that minute's going to help a lot of people, my man. So thank you for that.
Hey man, it's a pleasure, bro. It's a pleasure.
So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to follow along, where do they find you?
Hey man, you can catch me on Instagram at Mr_ROQBODY, which is MrRockBody.com, MrRockBody.com, or rockbody.com, ROQBODY.com. Hey, we have the shows on there, we have the supplements on there, we have the clothes on there, we got everything on there. So feel free to reach out on there, or follow me on Instagram.
There we go, guys. If you guys like this episode, let us know. Give the man a follow, show him some support, and obviously we'll be keeping an eye out on the stage this year. Looking forward to it.
Hey man, good times ahead.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Love it. If you guys like the episode, definitely give it a like, subscribe for future ones, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yes, sir.